never forget. Through all the pain and the sweat, that you're not done with me yet. I got to keep pressing, got to keep pressing on. You know I never forget that you're not done with me yet. And all the tears that I let, I got to keep pressing, got to keep pressing.
Grace to you, family. I'm so excited about you guys hanging with me on tonight. As you can see, Corey is not with us, but do not fret. We still have something very amazing to talk to you guys about tonight. I'm excited because I have the honor of talking to a dear friend of mine. Her name is Kim Wilkerson. If the Let's Grow Together family could just hit some hearts and hit some lights, just welcome her on tonight. We are going to talk about something that is very, very crucial in this time and in this season, and it is the act of miracles. I'm so excited about having Kim on tonight because she is a walking miracle. And so on tonight, I want you guys to just come in, invite some people in, hit some hearts, hit some likes, because we're going to talk to Kim about her testimony. As I said before, she's a friend of mine. We've been friends for a couple of years. She hails from Brooklyn, New York, and she will not let you forget that. If we have any, what are y'all, Brooklyn, what are y'all? New Yorkers, y'all just go. If we have any New Yorkers in the room tonight, y'all say, what up, B, or whatever. Go ahead, Kim. What do y'all say? Y'all let us know where y'all from on tonight. And I want us to just sit back and just hear this awesome testimony, because Kim, I believe that, and I'm gonna give you time to kind of introduce yourself, but I believe that right now we are seeing so many. I mean, when you cut the news on, it's always bad news. Everywhere you look, there's turmoil around us. And I think sometimes we tend to, although we may not let it come out of our mouths, we tend to forget that God is still on the throne and he is still working miracles. And so I have heard your awesome testimony, but I want other people to hear your testimony on today, because you are a modern day right up to date miracle that's standing before us. And so with no further ado, I want us all to just kind of hit some hearts again for my friend Kim Wilkerson. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, we know your name is Kim Wilkerson, and we know you from Brooklyn, but tell us about you. Do you have any children?
I'm a mom.
Yes.
I have one son. He's 22.
Right. Great. How long have you been in Austin?
I've been in Austin 22 years.
22 years. That's awesome. And so we know that you've been here for a while, and we know that you are from Brooklyn, but we would also like to know what do you do in ministry? I know, but I want the people to know what you do in ministry, because you bad at it, girl. You bad at it.
I do a little bit of everything. Wherever I can fit in ministry related, I do. I do events, I do administration, just anything that can help.
And I want to jump in right quick.
Okay.
Where you say that you do administration, y'all, for the audience that is watching, she does administrations, but she does administration on another level. And so she's been working with ministries and churches for years, but in the Austin area, many people may know of her, where she has worked with different ministries, their administration department. She's did some trainings in the Austin area to kind of get some church organizations organized. And I just kind of know a little bit about your resume, so I just want to throw it out there, girl. But I want to talk to you tonight about something that really blessed my heart when I first heard this testimony from you, because I've known you for a couple of years now, and I know you before the miracle, and I know you after the miracle. So can you kind of just talk to me about what did God do? I'm so excited about what you're about to share with the people. Just take us up from before to during to after.
Okay. You keep saying you know me for a couple of years. A couple is two. You know me for more than
But
2.
yeah, you're right. When I say couple, I mean couple times 10.
um. Okay. You said you want me to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, prior to what happened, I was in a place where I was very unhappy in ministry, and
Mhm.
I was going through a lot personally, and it
Mhm.
was reflecting in my everyday life. It was reflecting in my attitude. It was reflecting in the way I spoke to people. It was
Mhm.
reflecting in the way I dealt with people. And I
Mhm.
went from being this person that was a pretty positive and jovial to
Mhm.
being very nasty, very short, just kind of like out of sorts,
Mhm.
out of my norm,
Yeah.
because I was dealing with a lot and didn't know how to go to somebody or to go to God and say, help me,
Mhm.
what's going on with me? Why am I
Mhm.
feeling this way? Why am I acting like this? What can I do to get out of this rut that I'm in?
Yeah. Can I just jump in right there?
Hmm.
Because I know your story personally and I kind of know before. Um, like I said, she's from New York. They kind of got a reputation of being sharp and a little rude. This was like times 10. And so where she was never really nasty or rude to me personally, I had witnessed like, oh my God, just to kind of pull it out of you. In ministry,
Right,
while we're in ministry dealing
right.
with people, just very, very kind of
And the conflict was that I was out of character being that way, because my character and myself was to help, to be thoughtful, to be kind,
yeah,
to be a support.
yeah.
So the conflict of the nastiness and trying to be that help and that support was
Mhm.
what really was a strain on me
And that
mentally.
I think that that's even key as well, because what you're saying is that this was not the real you, but
Right,
because you were not dealing with the issues
right,
that you were dealing with internally, it was giving off a totally different, an opposite personality to people, and that's something that we can even learn, myself and those watching, that people may think that you're a certain way because you refuse to deal with the
right,
things that are going
right,
on inside, internally,
right.
or around you, and it gives off a whole nother reflection of yourself.
Right. And sometimes that you feel like it's so bad that you don't know how to deal. You don't know where to start.
Yeah,
And if you don't have the right community and environment to say, hey, let's sit down, let's talk,
yeah,
let's start here, then
yeah.
it's overwhelming for you to try to figure it out. Because if
Hmm.
we could figure out our stuff, we wouldn't need God.
That's right. That's right. Ooh, God. So you were dealing with folk. You were handing their head to them on a platter in
Yeah.
ministry, just
Yeah.
just going on. And
Yeah.
so as you continued on through ministry that way, what happened as you move into that to kind of shift some
Um,
things?
I had got like to the end of my rope, so to say. And I
Hmm.
was like, okay, there has to be more to this than what I'm experiencing. So
Hmm.
I decided to leave where I was, to
Hmm.
go and experience something different and to get help for
Hmm.
the state that I was in.
Yeah.
So I left where I was and I went to another ministry, and I just sat. I didn't, make myself known or anything. I just
Hmm.
went there and I sat so that I could still get the word, but
Yeah.
also get some direction on how to get help.
Hmm.
And I did that. And once I did that, God started to speak to me and to others on
Hmm.
how to get me some help. And I
Okay.
started getting counseling
Okay.
for where I was at in my life.
Okay.
Um, but I still was having that, what's happening? Okay, I'm getting counseling, but why do I feel like this? What is my purpose? Once I get the counseling, am I going to be able to live out my purpose, or am I going to just have to suffer for the way I was prior to getting the help? And so,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, Lord, help me, show me. I need you to give me instruction. I need you to lead me. I need you to guide me, direct me. And I went away and I went to another church, and I was like, Lord, I need you to give me some type of instruction while I'm here, some direction. And he did through a play that they were doing. He spoke to me, and I mean, just laid everything out for me. And it was just an awesome time. I had just like pages and pages and pages of stuff that I heard from him while I was there. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm getting the counseling so that I can fix my hurt from my situation. I got direction. I'm ready to go. And on my way back from being away, I started to lose my eyesight.
Ooh. Okay, so you said lose your eyesight. Hold on, wait a minute. Lose your eyesight as in things are blurry?
As in they started out blurry, then nothing. So I went from blurry to nothing within, I say, hours.
So wait, how does that happen? You wake up one morning, you see perfectly fine. Then by 12, stuff is blurry.
Right.
By 5 o'clock, you seeing black?
Right. Correct.
Oh my God.
Correct.
Woo.
And it wouldn't have been a problem if you didn't have to factor in life. Because life is that you never leave your house like you're supposed to. So, especially coming from a trip. So things were everywhere in the home. So much stuff left undone because, you always say, well, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll handle that towards the end of the week.
Yeah.
I'll do, because you think you have nothing but time on your hand. So you put stuff off, and you maybe do 1 or 2 things that you can get done. And the rest you say, well, I'll do that over the weekend, or I'll do that next week, or I'll call tomorrow. So I had all of that those things laid out of being undone, plus stuff everywhere in my house. Plus my son was away at a basketball camp in Dallas. So I was home alone. And I just didn't have things laid out to be ready to see today and not tomorrow.
So let me get this straight. Let me pause for those we can make sure everybody's following us. So you leave and you go, you travel somewhere on a trip, and you're dealing with a lot of things. But while you're there, the Lord ministers to your heart. You receive the instruction that you need by watching a play. God can speak through anything.
Yes.
Watching a play, you get so excited because this is the word of the Lord that I've been waiting for. This is the instruction that I've been waiting for. God, I'm ready to do this. You showed me some things. Let's go. You get back on your flight, ready to come home, and you lose your eyesight.
Yes.
Completely. Or once you get home?
Once I got home, completely. Okay. I on the way home, I started having a little bit of blurriness, but I was just thinking I had been crying a lot, and I hadn't really gotten anything to eat. So I was like, okay, I'm diabetic, so I was like, I probably need to eat. And all that crying, my eyes are tired.
Wow.
And I just was like, so it'll be fine. So I went to work, was on the computer at work, and the computer screen was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I called IT and I was like, hey, could you come look at my computer because something is happening? And when the IT guy came, he was like, why is your cursor so big? And I said, well, I made it that big because I can't see. And so he was like, yeah, well, there's something else going on, and it's not the computer. He was like, why don't you leave your stuff here? Because we were friends. He said, leave your stuff here and go down to the eye place here in the business subdivision and see if they'll see you. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went, and they were like, well, we only have one doctor. We're not really taking walk-ins, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? There is a Walmart close. And I was like, you know, Walmart never has anybody in their little eye thing, not the doctor. So I was like, I can get in there and get out. But it still was getting dimmer and dimmer. So I was like, okay, I can't take the highway. I'm going to have to take the street and put on my hazards because I can't really see. So I put on my hazards and I went the street way and I just drove slow. And when I got there, the lady was like, oh, okay, he can see you right away, which I knew. And so he was like, so what brings you in today? So I was like, you know, my eyes it seems like everything's getting dimmer and dimmer as the day goes on. And so he was like, okay, let's take a look. So he puts the light in my eyes and then he's like, oh. And so I'm like, okay, what's that oh about? And so he said, did you drive here? And so I said, yeah. He was like, do you have somebody you can call? Because I can't let you drive away.
This is in the Walmart
yes,
eye exam place.
Yes.
Okay.
He said, and I'm going to give you a number to a surgeon. You need to call them while you're here and have them and make an appointment so they can look at your eyes. He said, because what's going on is out of my scope. So you have to speak to another doctor because there's nothing that I could do. So I said, okay, well, what do you see? And so he said, I don't want to scare you, but it's really, really, really dark. And I'm like, okay, I know that because it's getting dark for me. So I know it's dark. So he was like, just call the surgeon and see if you can get in. So I called someone to come get me, had my car towed back to my house. And as the evening went on, it's just getting darker and darker and darker. So now I'm getting scared because I'm going from being able to see a little bit, then being able to see a little bit less and a little bit less. And it's like 10 centimeters from being just black. So I'm starting to panic now because I'm thinking about all the stuff that I didn't do and like, what can I do if it goes totally black? Like, what can I do? I'm by myself. If my son was there, then I can say, hey, okay, I need you to help me. But I have nothing. And I never use Siri on my phone just because I never needed it. But I figured that, okay, now you're going to have to depend on something to help you because that's it. In a minute, you're not going to be able to see anything. So the person that picked me up and took me to my house was like, do you need me to stay? What can I do? So I was like, well, if you just help me into the house and, help me get situated, I'll be okay. Thinking that, it was going to I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was thinking that it was in the morning when I got up, it was going to be back or whatever. So I was like, no. And they were like, okay, well, just call me, if anything. Well, by the time they left me, now it's just totally black. So now not only am I scared, but I'm panicking.
And alone.
Yes. So before I did anything, I cried. It probably was like 20 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours. I just was sitting there crying. And then finally I called my sister and I was still crying. And she was like, what's going on? And I was like, I can't see. And she was like, what do you mean you can't see? Is it like, it's dim?
Yeah.
What's going on? And so I started through my tears trying to explain to her. She said, okay, I'm going to look for a flight because she was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, I'm gonna look for a flight and I'm coming. So I was like, and I'm gonna call my mom. So she couldn't get a flight that night. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing going out there
Mm-hmm.
night wise. So she was like, I'll be there in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, I called my mom, but I don't know what, I don't remember. I couldn't get her right away
Okay.
because I think she was away somewhere or something.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm there by myself the night. So I was like, I cried. I was like, I'm gonna just sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I wake up in the morning, she'll be there and everything will be fine.
Okay.
Well, the problem is I couldn't sleep because I started to get like claustrophobic
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and really started to panic
Mm-hmm.
because my eyes were open, but it was dark.
Oh wow.
So I
Wow.
couldn't really lay down because I'm already in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know, like, can't, if I want something to eat or go to the bathroom or something.
Mm-hmm.
I know my apartment, but not that well because I had moved stuff all around because I had this
Mm-hmm.
bright idea, which we often do, to change my apartment around
Okay.
and clean out my closet.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled everything out. I had moved the table. Everything was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that if I walked straight down the hall, the bathroom is there. But I didn't factor in I had left a boot right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Or I pulled this out. So I was banging into stuff,
Yeah.
which was scaring me even more. And then when the nighttime came, it made the apartment dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already seeing black. And then it's black there. So now that it made me even more afraid.
Yeah.
So it just kind of paralyzed me. And I was just like, I'm just going to get in the bed and stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't fall asleep, of course. So I was just there staring.
Mm-hmm.
Not, people say staring at the ceiling. Well, I couldn't see the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just staring at
Okay.
nothing but blackness. So she was able to get there the next morning.
Okay.
But it just was, I felt like it was the end of the world.
So how long did you stay in that state to where you couldn't see anything?
So I was like that for almost a year
Oh my God.
before I got the first surgery.
So before you got to the actual process, I know in the meantime you were seeing doctors, but what was happening to you internally and spiritually in that apartment and in the dark?
So at first, I went through several emotions. At first, I was like, okay, I got this. I'm going to be strong. I ain't no punk. Come on, come with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went from that to, oh my God, my life is over. What happens if I never see again?
Mm-hmm.
Then I started thinking about how life would be blind.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm never going to get to experience anything that I experienced previously.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to move and live where blind people live. And all of this stuff was going through my head.
So
And
in
then,
the process, you kind of being made aware, you're being made aware of how many things we take for granted
yes,
when we
because,
have our faculties and our eyesight. So
yes,
now in this
because
state where
I
everything
wasn't,
is black, you're realizing how important it is to see your son's face, or
or
So
just being able to brush your teeth and comb
yeah,
your hair.
yeah, and take care of yourself.
Because I mean, I was still able to brush my teeth, but I can't really see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, brush them, but I can't really do like I normally do. I can't floss and look at them and be like, oh, wait, I need to brush a little bit more. Oh, I don't like the way the bottom teeth is looking. I need to do this. You can't do your routine.
So your lifestyle was flipped upside down immediately.
The bare minimum.
Okay.
And I'm very, I like to primp, not primp like makeup and stuff, but I want to see everything. I want to, my earrings need to match my shirt, and so I'm that was taken away. And that was humbling. Humbling and humiliating, because also now you have to get help to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's nothing you could do on your own. And when you used to being very independent, that's very, 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 very humbling. Because you're used to just, when you want to go to the bathroom, you get up and go. You don't have to wait for somebody to say, okay, I'm gonna walk you in. Okay, call me. Here's the tissue. Call me when you're done and I'll help you. And it's also kind of humiliating too. Because
it's your private time.
Right. And who wants somebody in the bathroom with them? Even if it is your sister, you don't want them in the bathroom talking about, okay, lift your leg up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you start feeling bad for the person having to experience
right.
This. So it's a lot of emotions going on at one time.
I kept saying, I'm so sorry. And she was like, would you stop saying sorry to me? Because I felt like I was imposing on her by having her to have to be in a bathroom with me. Yeah. It's a one thing when you and your sister in the bathroom together and you like, oh girl, go ahead and go to the bathroom with me. But it's a different thing when they gotta be there. They gotta be there for every part of it.
Yeah, I understand that.
So it was just like really heart-wrenching. But as I was going through the process, God was really starting to deal with the inside of me. Wow. Because before the non-seeing, he was dealing with the outside of me, showing me different things and speaking to me. But while I was not seeing, he started dealing with the inside of me. And when you are going through transition, the toughest part of the transition is getting your insides cleaned out.
Woo! Say that again.
When you're going through transition, the toughest part of the transition is getting your insides cleaned out. Woo. Because inside is where the nastiest, messiest you is.
Yeah.
Ooh, and that nasty, messy you it's there, but when it's shown to you, you don't want to see it. You say, oh, I know I'm mean. But when it's actually pulled out and laid before you, how mean you really are, it's such a turn off.
Yeah.
It's such a turn off. It's heartbreaking. It's demoralizing. You go through all of those feelings because it's like you know better.
Yeah.
And then you like, oh my God, I don't want to be this.
Yeah.
So that is the time where it's the roughest, is getting that inside of you cleaned out. But once you get it out, like the first cleaning, and you see what it could be inside from that first cleaning, then you get addicted to it. And you're like, oh, I want it all.
You want more out. Yes.
I want to get it all out.
Girl, you better come on with it.
Ready for what's to come, because you like, if I feel like this with that little bit out, what's going to happen when I get it all out? If this is happening for me with that little bit out, what's going to happen when I get it all out?
Yeah.
So you start to have an expectation of things. And he just showed me the nasty me, the ugly me.
So here it is. Physically, you cannot see, but spiritually, he's allowing you to see the you that you ignored, the you that other people could see. So now spiritually, you're able to lay it out and see what it looks like. The way that you talk to people, the way that you treat people, without your physical eyesight.
Right.
Oh, wow. Our God is so awesome.
And I could see everything, not just my stuff. I could see everything.
Yeah.
Which is almost like being able to read people's mind. At first, it's fun. But after a while, you want to turn it off. Because you want to say, man, Sean thinks like that about that. You don't want to know. You know,
So
certain people
let
you
me
don't
let me
want to
ask
know
you
things.
this. Let me ask you this. So now that your physical eyesight is gone, I've heard people that I've heard blind people say this before. Because their eyesight is gone, their other senses are heightened.
Mm-hmm.
So now that your physical eyesight is gone, you hear like we hear, but
Yeah.
your hearing is heightened, and you hear what's behind the things that are said that kind of float past
Right. Right.
us.
Right.
And so now you're hearing things that you didn't hear before.
Right. I always give the example of if I say, Sean, how are you today?
Mm-hmm.
If I can see you, even if you're not doing well, you can fake a smile and say, I'm
Yeah.
good, girl, blessed and
Yeah.
highly favored.
Yeah.
And I can say, oh, she's good.
Yeah.
But if I can't see you, I can hear you faking. Because there's a
Woo!
tone that we take on when we're not being real.
Mm-mm-mm.
So a person that can't see, they do everything by the tones.
Yeah.
So I can hear you being like, no, I'm okay. I'm all right. But I
Yeah.
can hear that, okay, she's not okay.
Yeah.
She's just saying that because she don't want me to say, what's wrong? What's going on? Or she
Okay.
doesn't want us to know about this that's happening in her life. So
Okay.
once you start being able to take on the tones of things,
Mm-hmm.
it's heartbreaking how the people we say we love and we spend our time with, how we talk to them,
Mm-hmm.
the things we say, you know, sometimes we can say some hurtful things to each other
Yeah.
and we'll put it off as I'm just joking with her.
Mm-hmm.
But some things you don't joke about.
I've heard before there's a little truth in every joke.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So
And sometimes I also notice that sometimes people's pain, the way they hide it is through jokes.
yeah.
So they'll joke about divorce because they had a bad divorce.
Uh-huh.
And instead of addressing the bad divorce and the things that they felt during the divorce or how they're still hurting from the divorce,
Mm-hmm.
they'll say stuff like, oh, that's why I'm divorced now. I don't need no man.
Yeah.
But in actuality, they're longing for that
Oh, wow.
companionship again.
Yeah.
But they push it off into, I don't need no man, instead of just saying, you know, right now, I don't have the capacity to be in a relationship. But once I get healed, I do want to experience love again.
Yeah. So they'll throw a joke out there to
Right.
kind of create a space for
Right.
laughter, and
Right.
sometimes even to keep you from beating them to it.
Right.
So if I laugh at it first, then it
Right.
won't hurt me if you joke about it.
Right. And
Yeah.
as believers, we should not have to be on a defense with other believers.
Come on. Talk about that.
I shouldn't be in a crowd of believers with my guard up.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a safe space where I can put my guard down and say, I am struggling today.
Mm-hmm.
I need your help.
No matter what title we carry.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
And
so
when
here
you
go
when
ahead.
you start to put that defense up, practice makes perfect. So if you constantly practice putting that defense up, you now carry that defense all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never be yourself.
See, that's
Even
good.
in times when when it's okay to be yourself, because you're so used to having that defense, you don't know how to put it down.
Wow.
So you're in a safe space, but you don't realize you're in a safe space. So you got that defense up again. And everybody's like, wow, why is she so, what's going on with her? This is not that. But the thing is, she's practiced so long having that defense up, she don't know how to put it down.
That's good. That's good. And so here you are, you're starting to notice that the Lord is dealing with you about you in this time where you can't see physically. And then at the same time, he's starting to heighten, I want to say, your discernment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Concerning other people
Exactly.
that you're coming in contact with, because like you said, this is over a year's time, so you're kind of learning how to function a little bit without
Exactly.
the eyesight.
Exactly.
So what's going on? And the reason why I asked you this is because I've heard the testimony, but what's going on in the apartment? What are you listening to? What's helping you get through?
So I started just to backtrack a little, I had went into like a depression. And so I didn't want to, like I was saying, I was having a bunch of emotions. So at first I went into I'm a survivor, I'm not gonna give up mode.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I went to, oh my God, my life is over. So I was having all these emotions, but depression was more the strongest emotion creeping its way in. And my sister came and she was like, listen, I am so sorry that this is happening to you. She was like, but you have to get up. You cannot lay here and just be like this forever. She said, I'm going to give you one more day to lay here and cry and not eat and do all of that stuff. She said, but tomorrow you got to get up. She said, and
I got to pause you real quick, and I'm going to let you finish that. I just got to jump in right here. It is so important that we have the right people around us, and the biggest mistake we could make is always having close people around us that agree with us, that are yes men.
Yes.
You said it, that's what it is, and nobody says anything. It's just yes, whatever you say. We have to have the right people around us that when we get off or when we get in the dump or depressed,
and they must be spiritual.
That's right. And the people that'll be around us that say, okay, you down. I'm gonna give you one more day to be in that state. When I get here tomorrow, you getting up. You got to have the girl, start with me. Come on, finish that. I'm sorry, y'all. Come on. So one more day to lay in that state.
Yep. And then she said, and tomorrow when I get you up, we are going to figure out different ways for you to communicate. She said, we'll look into maybe recording, maybe just setting Siri up to you do everything with her, but we are going to find you ways to communicate, and you are going to push through and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So when she said, so I'm going to leave you alone now. And she stayed at the hotel when she came. And so I was talking to a friend a while back, and they were like, well, why didn't she stay in the house with you? And so I was explaining to them that I understood that she needed to pull herself out of the situation to effectively deal with the situation, because I could tell that it was hurting her to see me
like that.
She just saw me and we were shopping and laughing and talking, and now she comes and she has to help me walk. So that did something to her.
Okay.
So I feel like she did that so that she could pull away
and get time
and restore herself and come back and be what she needed to be for me.
You. Okay, that's
so good. When she walked out of the room and I heard her walk out of the room, I started literally like cussing her out in my mind. Because I was like, she got the nerve to come in here. She could see. And she got the nerve to come in here and tell me she gonna give me one more day like this and blah, 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 blah. You know, just emotional. And I was like, and if it was her, I wouldn't be telling her I'm giving her one more day and blah, blah, blah. So
that's how we do though. We kick the help. We kick the help. We need somebody, when we're down like that, we want somebody that's gonna lay across the bed and cry with us and you ain't gonna see no more. Yeah, we don't want nobody to tell us, you if you don't see again, you finna learn how to read Braille. You finna, we don't want that person.
Yeah. I was like, oh, she have the nerve to act like that with me and blah, blah, blah. And after I laid there and I had my tantrum, I heard the Holy Spirit say, this is your decision point right here. Either you're going to choose to be angry at what she's saying, or you gonna choose to follow her lead.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna make the difference in your journey right now.
Wow.
He never said, hold on because you're gonna be seeing next week, so don't act like that. He just said that this is gonna make the difference in your journey right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, choose wisely. You
My
can stay
God.
where you are and be upset, and this journey won't be what it's called to be, or you can decide, I'm going to go with what she said, and this journey is going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when she came the next morning, because I couldn't see, I didn't know day from night.
Okay.
So it could be 9 o'clock. I had no way of knowing that it was 9 o'clock, but I couldn't sleep. So I would just lay there until I could fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I did fall asleep, somebody would be coming saying, good morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be morning. But
Wow.
I'm thinking it's still night, but I basically was up all night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exhausting on its own, being
Yeah.
up all night like that. So
So what did you do? Did you listen to music? What were
when
you?
it first started, I didn't do anything but cry. I didn't listen to nothing. I didn't want to hear no scriptures, no nothing. And you know how I feel about TD Jakes. I didn't even want to hear TD Jakes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to hear nothing nobody could tell me, because I have went from seeing to not seeing. I don't want to hear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But after that, when she came back that next day, she was like, good morning. She said, okay, we're going to eat some breakfast. And she was like, and we're going to watch some Jakes. And when she said that, we both bust out laughing. And she was like, well, you know what I mean. And so we laughed about that. And she was like, see, we could do this. We could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And she put on Jakes. And from that time on, I made a decision. I got this. No matter what happens, I got this. Now, during the course of the time, yes, I did get discouraged. And yes, sometimes I was like, I don't have this. But for the most part, I was like, I got this. I started listening to worship music every night.
Yeah.
I would still listen to TD Jakes and all the people that I would normally listen to. I would listen to those sermons. I would listen to music. I would do whatever I needed to do to keep myself for that day.
Yeah.
I couldn't think about tomorrow or the next day. I had to take it one day at a time. And I did whatever I needed to do not to let fear creep in.
So God, he was feeding you daily just for that day.
Yep. It says, give us this day our daily bread.
Yes, come on.
It is what it is. I tell people all the time, if you listen to the things that the word say, it really tells you it straight up.
Yeah.
It don't say, and maybe I will bless you. It just says, I will bless you. So you're like, okay, so I'm going to be blessed no matter what. Because it don't say maybe.
Yeah.
It said he will.
Yeah.
So I'm going through this. But at the end of the day, I'm going to still be blessed.
That's right.
So I'm going to just go through it and wait for the blessing. So that's what I did. Wow. Every time that fear started creeping in, that claustrophobia started creeping in, I would just be like, okay, I would start reciting stuff to myself, listening to different songs, just kept it playing and playing and playing and playing and playing and playing.
So down through the process, the Lord is dealing with you spiritually. You're learning how to somewhat adapt to this new way of life. You're seeing doctors, so you're being dealt with holistically,
right?
The doctors are giving you some good news, some good news. So take us into how you're starting to move into what they decide they want to try and do.
So, I said before, I'm diabetic, and I have been working on getting off of insulin. So when everything happened, I was off insulin. And they was like, okay, we can't operate on you with no insulin, because if you're under and your blood sugar drops, that could be problematic. So they was like, we need you to get back on insulin and get regulated. So they said, that's once you do that, we can operate. So I'm like, okay, so that means if I get on it Thursday, by next Friday, I should be able to see.
Yeah.
Wasn't that easy.
Oh no. Don't make me wait.
They said, well, you need to be on the insulin for 30 days. So I was like, I gotta wait 30 days before y'all could do anything. So they was like, yeah, get on the insulin for 30 days, let it get in your system, and then we'll look at next steps. So I was on the insulin for 30 days, went back to the doctor. They was like, okay, your blood sugar levels are beautiful, but your blood pressure is through the roof. Well, of course, my blood pressure is through the roof because I'm stressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stressed. I'm fearful. I'm freaking out. I'm okay one day, and then the next day I'm back at it again. Mm-hmm. So my blood pressure is gonna be all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so now what we got to do? So they said, well, we can't operate with the high blood pressure. So we're going to give you something for the blood pressure. Take this for 30 days, another 30 days.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, oh, my God. So I took that, go back again. And then they said, well, I had switched my insurance because another insurance place brought out my insurance place. Mm-hmm. And then they was like, with the buyout and the type of insurance you have, it lapses a month and then it picks up. So I was like, okay. So I went to do the next step and they was like, well, your insurance doesn't start back up until this time. So I was like, okay, can I pay for these next few visits or whatever? Mm-hmm. They was like, well, you can, but it's going to get expensive because it's a specialist, not just a regular doctor. Mm-hmm. So now they talking $800, $900 for everything that I do. So I'm doing like 5-6 things and they saying, well, it's going to be like $950 for this, $1,000 for this. And so now I'm stressing out even more because I'm not working.
Wow.
And I'm like, where am I going to get this money from? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So somebody was like, well, you should be getting unemployment. So I was like, oh, yeah. I called the unemployment people and they were like, well, no, you can't get unemployment if you can't see because you have to search for a job for, you have to do at least 7 searches or something. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they was like, if you can't see, you can't do the 7 searches and nobody can do it for you. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what am I going to do? So now I'm even more stressed because I can't get unemployment. Mm-hmm. I just have the money that I was getting and the savings that I do have. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to have to start digging into it. But I still have to pay my rent and live. Mm-hmm. So, of course, later on, people was like, well, you should have went and seen if you could get disability because of, well, I can't see. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And my sister couldn't stay here forever. She had to go back. So once my mom was able to come, they switched out. Mm-hmm. But my mom was taking care of my grandmother and my grandfather. Yeah. So she could only do but so much. So much, yeah. And it ain't like she's 20 years old, an older person, trying to take care of my grandmother, take care of my grandfather, and take care of me. Okay. So she was running back and forth between homes, taking care. So that's stressful on her.
So you're dealing with all of these issues, which affect your blood pressure.
Exactly. Okay. All the stresses that affect your health, which they're telling me we can only operate if your health is okay. Okay. But I got to deal with everything that doesn't make my health okay. Okay. So finally, I had to just pray and be like, okay, Lord, I trust you. Whatever happens, happens. I trust you. But I still had to deal in the back of my mind with the enemy telling me, the longer you can't see, the worse your eyes are getting. Yeah. And the operation may not even work. Woo. And I later on found out that that's not even true. But I had no way of knowing whether that was true or not. And I'm hearing that, so I'm starting to believe it. So now I'm getting even more fearful. Yeah. Because they keep telling me, do this for 30 days, do this for 30 days, do this for 30 days. Then finally, they say, okay, your body is regulating. We can schedule a surgery. So I'm like, okay, so is it tomorrow? And they like, no, we have to schedule in the surgeon because you got to do the prep and all of this. So it's weeks again. Because you got to prep the eyes for 30 days and then
Mhm,
prep
mhm,
this and prep that. So time is just passing. And I'm
mhm.
like, so then I said, okay, I'm not sweating it. As long as they can do the surgery, I'm gonna be able to see soon. I'm gonna just go with whatever
And
they
see,
say.
listening to you say, "Oh, they said 30 days. Okay, we gotta wait for this, but we have you scheduled for this 30 days." We're hearing it, but all of these 30 days, you're in
Right.
pitch
If you keep going
darkness.
30 days, that's months.
You're in pitch darkness with them
Right.
adding on these 30
Right.
days. Okay, so when you finally get scheduled, what
Right.
does that sound like?
When I finally get scheduled, I was so excited. I go in for the consultation and they telling me everything. And then I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, thank God it's happening. So I was like asking them questions. And then I said, okay, and how long will it take before I could see? So they said, oh, right away. So I
Mhm,
said, good. And I
mhm,
started thinking about all the stuff I want to do. I was like, I
mhm.
get to watch Law and Order again. I get to do this and do that and do this. And so I was saying, okay, and will you give me something for both eyes? And she was like, both eyes? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh no, we can't do both eyes. So I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
What? So I just bust out crying right there. When I say bust out crying, I mean I bust out crying. And she
Mhm,
was like, okay, do you need a minute? And I went from super sadness to anger.
mhm,
And I was like, yes, I do need a minute. And
mhm.
so they gave me a minute and then she came back and she was like, let me explain to you why we can't do both eyes. She said,
Okay.
if something goes wrong, both of your eyes now are damaged. She said, but if we do one at a time, if something goes wrong with the first eye, we can save the other eye. And I was like, And she was like, and you're diabetic. Anything could happen. Blood sugar could drop, anything could happen. And I was like, no. I said, well, I need to see another doctor. And she was like, I can't send you to another doctor, but no doctor it will operate on your eyes at the same time. She said it's a health risk. And so I was like, this ain't fair. Now I'm just mad, emotional. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And she said, well, do you want to schedule the first eye? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just schedule it. I go home and I'm like, God, I've been doing everything you said. I've been trusting you. I've been walking through the process. Why would you let this happen that I can't get them both done at the same time? And all I heard was trust me. And so now I was like, oh, really? This is what we doing? I'm
Mhm.
going through this, and all you're gonna say is trust me, and that's it. Not gonna give me nothing else. Not gonna give me
Yeah.
I got you. Not gonna be like, come on, girl, you got this. I'm here for you. None of that. Just
And
trust.
that's how we that's how we are when we've been waiting for so long, and then we see we hear the Lord showing us that this is how I'm gonna do it, this is when I'm gonna start, this is what's gonna happen. It's kind of like we're like, come on, you don't give me
Right,
a little bit.
right,
If you're gonna bless me now.
right.
Get it
And
out the way.
and I was all like rah rah Jesus,
Yeah.
scriptures, praise songs because
Come
I
on.
thought both was gonna happen. What
Mm-hmm.
one? How are you gonna be when you find out only one could happen? Are you
Mm-hmm.
still gonna be rah rah Jesus and scriptures and praise songs, or are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna go back to your old way and not trust?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna push through. So I had my moment of being upset,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was like, okay, it is what it is. I came this far. At least I'm gonna have one eye.
Yeah.
Got that first eye done. Oh my God. It was like, think about if somebody called you and said you won the Powerball. That's how that's how I was acting for that first eye. I was so happy. I was just thanking the nurses and crying, the anesthesiologist. I was just
Yeah.
thanking everybody. I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they said they've never had a patient that was so thankful and joyful when they had the surgery. I was
Wow.
like, y'all don't know what I've been through.
My God.
So I was just like so happy. I just was just excited. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was looking at everything. Everything was so clear. Trees look different to me. Cars look different to me. Animals, flowers, everything looks so different. I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. I was just so happy.
That's just like, girl, you, oh Lord, don't
And
even
once I
start.
got
Don't
that
even
first
start.
eye done, I was so happy that they didn't let me convince them to do both eyes, because the pain and the care of the eyes after is so much that I wouldn't have been able to handle both eyes at one time. It really would have took me out, the both eyes at one time. So I was like, see, that's why we got to trust the process.
That's right.
Trust the process. We got to trust the people that God put in place. We got to trust that God wouldn't let no doctor tell me that they can't do both if they could.
Yeah.
That his hand is on me that much, that he has the right surgeons and everything in place that for me. So I just was like, oh my God, I thank you, God, so much for just being who you are and just watching over me and ordering my steps. We talk about that all the time, but we don't really get what that means, I don't think, sometimes. When it says, order my steps, I know the plans I have for you. That means that there's nothing that's going to happen that he's not covering you on, or that he's not watching over you on.
Yeah, we forget that God is speaking to us from the end. He's speaking to us from the finish line.
Yes.
And so all we see is the race that we're running, the stuff that's in the way, the hurdles, the mud hole, the pits that we have to go through. But he's speaking to us from the end game.
Yep.
Telling you, just trust me. I know what the end looks like.
And trust that the people that he put in place are the people that he put in place.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Don't buck the system.
Yeah. That's good.
Go with it.
Yeah.
If you're saying, I trust you, Lord, order my steps, go with what you're saying.
That's right.
And know that this doctor coming is sent by him. This anesthesiologist coming is sent by him. This nurse coming is sent by him. This person coming to say, is everything okay? Do you need anything? All of these people are sent by him because he knows the plan already. So he already set all of this up, and you have to trust that.
That's good. That's good, because when you're in the right place in the right system, then God will begin to deal with you.
Because what if I would have been like, oh no, I want to see somebody. I need to see the head nurse or the head doctor or the head of the hospital. I need to see another
somebody higher than you.
And I would have made enough fuss to push them to do both eyes. And then something went wrong. Then I would have been crying, Jesus, help me.
And ready to sue.
Right. And talking about, Lord, I need you, come down, have everybody praying. And he like, I'm going to cover you, but this wasn't part of my plan.
That's good.
I'm going to help you through it, but don't think I'm going to fix it.
That's right.
This was not part of my plan. So.
Wow. So here he is, he's giving you this miracle.
Yes, that one eye.
Eyesight. But in the midst of that, he has given you a whole new
whole new life.
My God.
He gave me the me that I was originally before the hurt, before the disappointment, before the
walls that you built up. Yeah. That's just like us. And I think that's like all of us. It's kind of like we go through something and we don't know. It starts at a young age. We deal with so many things. We create defenses. We create walls. We create all this stuff that we make sure is in place to protect us from being hurt, protect us from being insulted, protect us from going through this and that. And later on down the line, we look up and we realize it's made us into somebody that we are not.
Exactly.
And so there's all these defense mechanisms that we use to make sure that other people don't hurt us.
Right.
But we don't realize what these mechanisms have done to the
Right.
real us.
Instead of trusting the process and going through it.
That's
You're
right.
going to be hurt. That's a part of life.
That's right.
So just go through it. Yes, it hurts, but go through it, take notes from it, and keep it pushing.
My
And
God.
turn around and tell other people, oh, this is what you're going through? Oh, girl. All right, just go through it. Feel what you got to feel.
Yeah.
Write down what you're feeling. And just remember this. And here's something that I learned when I got hurt. Take this
Wow.
and use this to go through it. Because it's going to happen. We're human.
Yeah.
And we
That's
just got to trust that it's a process
Mm.
and go through it.
Wow, that is so true.
I want people to look at things a different way when you encounter a messy person.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going on inside.
Mm-hmm.
They not just messy because they messy.
Yeah.
Something is happening on the inside that's made them a mess.
Yeah.
Because we all messy.
Yeah, we all got an avenue of messy. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We know how to
need that
we
clean
can
out.
pretend like we don't, but we all have a way to be nice, nasty.
Yes.
And God is constantly dealing with all of us
Yes.
in that area. If we didn't have that avenue that we could take, then it would be a perfect world. And
Right.
we know that that's not. We need the grace of God. We need Him to continually develop us, continually teach us. We don't grow out of deliverances.
Right.
It don't matter what kind of title we have,
Right.
no matter what office we have, how many years we've been in ministry.
Right.
We have to continue to be delivered from us.
Correct.
And so I just want to thank you for being open on tonight, for sharing your story with us, for sharing your testimony. I pray that it ministers to someone, no matter what part you see yourself in this story. Take heed to what was shared on tonight, because God can do it. We hear your story tonight. He affected you so many things came out of this.
Yes.
Because he dealt with your physical issue.
Yeah.
He heightened some other things that you needed.
Yeah.
He went in, did surgery, took some stuff out of you.
Right.
Then even made you humble enough to tell him, no, that ain't enough.
Right.
I need you to get this out of me.
Right.
That right there that I've been hiding from folks.
Right.
That right there, that's a trigger that'll make me go off on
Right.
folks. Get all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You got to be real. Hey, you got to be real with God, because He already know.
Yes.
He know your insecurities.
Yeah.
He know the traumas that you've been through. He know the things that set you off. He know the conversations that are triggers.
Yes.
He knows all of that. And
Yeah.
so the moment that you become aware of it, the moment that you accept it and say, you know what? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
You right. You got me.
Mhm.
That's the moment He can begin to start dealing with you
Yes.
in that area. And
Yeah.
so, girl, I got so much out of your story. I'm just like, oh, Lord, help me. Help me, Lord. When the recording over, so I'm going to lay out. I got to lay out again. Because after you told me the first time, and when we were out to eat, I said, well, I got to get home. But I can't halfway see him crying. When I walked in the door, I was like, baby, there is a God. Kim, a different person. I'm just playing, girl. But I'm telling you, your testimony has blessed me. It has blessed me tremendously. But like I said, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Stumbled, flipped, failed, and fumbled in this walk with you, Lord. Sometimes I really do miss those talks with you, Lord. It's true, I got a lot of things I need some help with. Issues from adolescence that I still ain't dealt with. It's selfish of me to repent of my